Hey, Shalawam. It's your brother Monathan. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Hakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalawam to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. All right? I entitled this lesson, just a quick in transit. I entitled it, We Can't Lose. We talked in class yesterday about how death really isn't a thing when you understand how the Most High operates, when you understand what we're fighting for. There's two nations upon the earth that were promised worldwide domination. That's Jacob and Esau, okay? The difference between the two is that Esau's was temporary. Jacob was given a real blessing. So that everything that motivates Esau, everything he does is motivated by getting that real blessing. The primary thing that's a part of that real blessing that Jacob got is it's going to be an everlasting kingdom, and the people in it, the people of that blood covenant, are going to be immortal. Once they're changed, they're never going to die. So there's two nations in our time that are actually talking about immortality. You got the prophets talking about immortality, and you got Esau on the left-hand side talking about immortality. That's why he's talking about merging man with machine. You got the fourth industrial revolution, all right, industry 4.0, which is the automation of most major jobs, that's what we're in right now. That's why there's all these job cuts, because they're using AI and robotics to automate most jobs. But industry 5.0, what they're trying to get to is the merging of man with machine. So when you heard Carl Schwab talking about the fifth industrial revolution, we will change, that's what he was talking about, merging man with machine to become immortal. Now, what their version of merging man with machine, they're trying to reach immortality, but everybody else taking that chip and doing it is so that they can control you, so that they can monetize this thing we call life. Okay? So like Elder Rataza said yesterday in class, hey man, you want to go to jail or you want to go home? Because Esau wants to set up a prison for your spirit, which he's not going to be successful. Okay? But the Lord is coming to liberate us, liberate our spirits, liberate the limitations of this damn body. You're not going to have aches in your joints in the kingdom. You're not going to be getting sick in the kingdom. You're not going to be subject to payments in the kingdom. We're going to be perfect. So anybody invested here on this side, man, you don't get it. You really don't get it if, your primary concern is things of this world, when the Lord has promised us a way better version of existence to come. Anything that you can imagine, the Lord going to outdo it. Anything that you think you want, it tells us in Isaiah 65. And I'm driving right now, so I ain't going to be able to, pull the precepts like I want, but I'll quote and mention them to you where they at. You go to Isaiah 65, the scriptures talk about even before we ask for it, the Lord going to give it to us in the kingdom. Before you can even fully formulate the thought to want something, it's going to already be established for you in the kingdom. That's paradise. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the immortality. We're fighting to enjoy the earth and for righteousness to reign forth in the earth. For families to be celebrated again. Okay? For the earth to operate at full capacity. Under this devil's rulership, people are mourning. Under this devil's rulership, he'll tell you that we're running out of food. We're running out of stuff. When the earth was created to replenish itself. You look at fruit and things that grow, they have seeds within themselves, so that they can continue to grow. There's no such thing as shortages. Now, the only time there's going to be a shortage in the kingdom is when one of the nations are disobedient and we make it to where there's no rain. And that in the scriptures, that symbolizes there being a stifling in someone's agriculture. All right? But yeah, man, there's no such thing as death for us. When you go to 1 Corinthians, let me see. I got a screenshot of it. Let me see if I can just put it on the screen for you real quick. When you go to 1 Corinthians, got it here, 15 and 55, it's talking about death. Where is that? That's what we're fighting for. We're the people of the promise who have an opportunity, and all of Israel is going to be saved. There's going to be 2/3 of our people who perish here in the great destruction, but eventually all of Israel is going to be changed and made immortal. Okay, so you're under the threat of death by this so-called white man, which is a made-up term. Okay, that shouldn't be anything to you when you understand how life and death works. All right, and if you don't, if you're new and you're just stopping by and passing, go read first. Go read Ecclesiastes 1 verses 9 on down, and then go read Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. Then go read Ecclesiastes 3 and 16. All right, and there's one more that's slipping my mind right now. It'll set you on the right course when you're talking about how life and death works. Okay, because it'll tell you that the thing that hath been is named already. Okay, so you got Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It talks about the thing that hath been is not new. It's already been of old time. Then you go to Ecclesiastes 6 and 10 and it say the thing that hath been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Okay, so there's no new spirits upon the earth. We get new flesh suits, yeah, but no new spirits upon the earth. But it's gonna come a time when we're taken up, and all the world witnesses it, like it talks about in Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter, where everybody that's a part of this blood covenant that the Lord made with the nation of Israel, once they're taken up and changed, they're never going to taste of death again. There's some people walking the earth right now who aren't going to taste of death. They're just going to be taken up and changed. And even those that do perish for standing stiffly for the things of Yahawashi, that's not the end of our story. I had a dream a couple weeks ago. My woman, she was watching me in my sleep. She told me, she was like, "There's something going on in your dream." And in my dream, it was these damn, I don't know if it was UN troops, but they had on these black, these black armored suits. And they was like beating me with the butt of their gun. And it was towards the end of the dream. At that point, I had already been fighting for a long time. I guess the bullets or whatever wasn't working, so they just held me down. They was beating me with the butt of my gun, but my wife said I was talking shit to him, and I was in my dream. And Elder Rataza, he said in class yesterday, when he was a child, he used to watch movies and things. He used to wonder, like, how can people that are about to be killed sit there and talk shit and still be talking shit? Well, as far as the men of the Lord, we know, because death ain't a real thing to us. The scriptures say, fear not him that can kill the body, but fear him that can destroy both soul and body in hell. We fear Yahawashi, and we know with the power that we serve, death isn't a real thing. You got to believe in the resurrection to receive salvation. If you don't believe that Yahawashi was raised from the dead, you can't win this fight that we about to go into, because you're going to be stifled by the fear of earthly things. You're going to be stifled by the fear of this man. When you're in fear, it makes you hesitate. It makes you stagnant. And the Lord needs us to move in a particular way in the days to come. So death shouldn't be something that you're just so afraid of. This devil put this fear of death in you. But in order to really grasp and comprehend what I'm saying, you got to have faith. You got to have faith that the Lord is. You got to have faith that no, death isn't final. So if you've been given that gift of faith, man, you need to nurture it, because you're not going to be equipped to move the way the Lord requires you to if that's something that cringes you up inside. No, man, we're using this grace period to really build up our faith. You need to be reading. You need to be praying to the Lord. You need to be fasting when you can, man. Lord, build my faith. And the Lord going to put you through particular adversities and things so that your faith is built up. That's another thing. People don't realize when you ask the Lord for strength, when you ask him to build up your faith, I don't think most people know what they're asking for. The Lord going to put you in situations to where you got to put that in practice. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. We're getting down to this. It's about to be game time. And you need to be prepared in the spirit. Everybody spends all this time investing in building up their flesh. But your spirit, that's who you really are. You're not your body. You're the spirit inside this body. Remember that. Okay? And this is just a loaner until we get back to our real bodies. This is a body that the Lord gave us for the test. You're not this vessel that you're in right now. You're the spirit in it. Okay? right? Stephen got stoned after he rebuked Israel, you know? And as he was getting stoned, he was looking up to the sky and praising the Lord and talking about, I see the sun. The Lord had it to where Stephen probably didn't feel it. I know in my dream, when they was whooping my ass in that dream, I didn't feel the backs of those guns. I just rebuked their ass and let them know I'm going to be back. You know what I mean? And that's what the brothers in the Maccabees did, man. We have so many great examples throughout the volume of the book, man, to stand boldly, no matter what your course may be. Personally, I want to just be taken up and witness the fall of my enemies. I don't want these devils to put their hands on me. But hey, whatever is the Lord's will, regardless of what how the Lord has your story play out. Again, as the title of this video says, we can't lose. You need to have that mentality wherever you go, wherever your test leads you, man. So, Abba, Rataza, the lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises once more to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Bahashim, I want to give double honors to